YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back with another NFL 2020 offseason rebuild. Going through every single team going in draft order. This video is for the LA Chargers, who actually have the 6th pick in the NFL draft. In these videos, I'm playing GM. I'm making cuts. We'll take a look at the cap situation after the cuts. We will resign some players, and then we'll attempt to make some major signings in free agency. And then at the end, a 7-round NFL mock draft. So we got you covered with the entire offseason here, and we'll do every single team. We have 2 channels now. Our new channel, GOAT House Plus, there's a link down in the description in the comments for that. Please subscribe. Full NFL content at the GOAT House. And then follow our Twitter and our Instagram. Daily posts on there. Always talking football on the Twitter, answering questions. There's a link in the description in the comments for all that. We'd really appreciate if you follow us. And then you'll find a Patreon link with extra content in the description. First thing I like to do, quickly just take a look at the depth chart for each team, break it down. The guys in red are free agents this offseason. So you do have some key ones here for the Chargers. And they already removed, Phillip Rivers from this because they know he's not coming back, so that was cool. But looking at, receiver at the top, I love the duo. Love the duo. Big fan of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I thought they could have used Mike Williams a little more and in better ways last year. But after that, you can see that they need more of a rotation. Pretty desperately, they need more of a rotation. Offensive lines where you can get better. It's crazy because on paper, it kind of looks like it should be better than it is, but then you got guys like Russell Okung, who's has an injury concern. Dan Feeney, a guy you can make work, but hasn't really lived up to where he thought he would be. Pouncey struggles at times. They got some good depth, I guess. Quisenberry and then Lamb, and I think Pipkins is a good depth guy. You could get better at right tackle. Schofield to me was actually more impressive than nothing spectacular, but more impressive than we thought. The expectations, I should say, unlike, the other guys like Dan Feeney and Forrest Lamp, when they drafted him, I think there was more expectations. You look at Tyrod Taylor, I think Tyrod Taylor can win. Is he going to get you to the Super Bowl, though? I mean, I think he can get you to playoffs with this team. Is he going to get you to the Super Bowl? I think only certain quarterbacks win the Super Bowl. And they do have Phillip Rivers actually right here. And they have Melvin Gordon and then Austin Eckler as a restricted free agent. And then Derek Watt, the fullback, who they'll bring back. I didn't really focus on fullbacks re-signing in this video, but they'll bring him back. And then defense, it's just mainly some depth guys. It's a very good defense. I mean, you could use another D tackle, you could use another linebacker, another corner. I'm looking for Nasir Adderley to step up possibly. That's interesting because that was a pretty good draft pick last year. Didn't get to see pretty much any of him this year. So I think a pretty good roster. It's a roster that you can work with in this offseason to really take that next step. It doesn't feel like, the Chargers have the 6th overall pick, but they do. To who I'm cutting, Thomas Davis, when they signed him, I kind of expected, looking at the contract when they signed him last year, I kind of liked it because they put it in play to cut him this year and save $5 million. He's just not going to make that huge impact for your team anymore. Then Virgil Green, just kind of a waste of $2.7 million in my opinion. And then the tough one, Russell Okung, because it is tough to come across good left tackles. And they have a good left tackle here, but he comes with the big injury concern, the big injury risk, $13 million on the line, and just where you're in position in the drafts. I know we're on position to take, and that kind of goes into free agency too. Like if they keep Russell Okung, I think it may lean me towards they may take a quarterback in the draft. I'm cutting him, and you kind of can get the idea what my plan is for free agency in the draft here, and we'll break that down here. But $51.7 million before the cut, $72.7 million after. Something to keep in mind. You'll see it at the top there. Yeah, Austin Eckler's restricted free agent. I'm going to get him back. He was a big weapon for the team last year. I'm making sure I get him back. He's today's NFL's running back. Being able to catch the ball in the backfield, but also can run the ball. Hunter Henry, I'm going to get back. It's one I'm not going to overspend on because he has had his injuries, but he's crucial to this offense. They're much better with him. He's still young, could get better. I'm just not overspending. I'm hoping to keep it under $10 million for sure per year. We'll see, but I would like to get him back, but I'm not going to overspend. And Michael Schofield, I thought was, pretty solid for them. It's a guy they would like back and could be somewhat cheap. Compared to the rest of the offense line in free agency. And then we're going to the major signing in free agency. I would love Teddy Bridgewater in this offense. This was a good enough team last year. I mean, there was Super Bowl expectations. I didn't pick them to win a Super Bowl. I thought there was a chance. If the fan base thought there was a chance, There's nothing wrong with that. They should have thought that. This was a team that was built through defense but had the weapons on offense. And even Phillip Rivers in 2018, at one point we were talking about MVP halfway through the season. And then in 2019, him along with the play calling, along with the offensive line, kind of held them away from taking the next step. And specifically, what was it at the quarterback position? I thought it was Phillip Rivers, kind of trying to be a hero and making those risky throws and just not even being close on some of them. And so what do they need when they're this talented? Nobody wants just a game manager. You don't want just a game manager, but that's kind of along the lines of what they want. A guy that's accurate, going to make those throws. He has the big play potential. You just don't need a whole bunch of big play potential from your quarterback. To me, it's Teddy Bridgewater. He makes this team better. He's going to take care of the ball, but he's going to win games at the same time. He has the weapons. You got to make sure the offensive line's looking pretty good, though. I like where they sit in the draft for that. And here in free agency. Trey Waynes, so actually two former Vikings here, just realized that. But Trey Waynes, I think, fits their defense. He fits their scheme. I really like him. I mean, he could be back in Minnesota. They have a cap situation. I like the fits with the Chargers and the Niners for Trey Waynes. I really think he would fit opposite of Casey Hayward. A very good tackling corner as well, and then will be good in cover 3 for them. So I would like to, because he's not going to be super expensive anyways. So, you have $72 million in cap. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, you have this in this scenario after the cuts. You have 72.8. Bridgewater's going to cost a bit. He's a quarterback and he's a solid one. He's going to cost a bit of money here. So it's going to take a hit. Waynes will have somewhat of a hit. Then Matt Filer, who was the right tackle for the Steelers, I definitely think fits the scheme here, and I think he'll be a plug. He's not, an insanely good right tackle or something, but he's a good right tackle. You definitely get an upgrade there, because you look at where you're at in the draft. You're going to want to fill out that right tackle spot here in free agency, and there's not a lot to choose from. So I think this is a good fit, something they could do, not going to be overly expensive. And then we get to the draft off of this plan. You get the quarterback free agency. So I'm going offensive line. I think Tristan Wirfs is an excellent fit. A guy that could play left or right. I'd play him at left, obviously with this scenario. But Wirfs is a fantastic fit in the Chargers scheme. You look at what Wirfs does best and what stands out to him, for me the most watching him, is him really just pulling and getting outside, getting downfield with the running backs, and it's just going to be so perfect with that Austin Eckler game and the Teddy Bridgewater game. We like to see him roll out, move a little bit, kind of dump it off. He's not going to take a whole bunch of deep shots, but he can because he's an accurate quarterback. But Wirfs, to me, just fits that so perfect. And then Damian Lewis, the LSU guard. So, you're just getting day one starters here on the offensive line. What were the weaknesses last year? What held you back from being where you should have been? Quarterback, offensive line play, and it's pretty much fixed at this point, already. So at this point, through picks 37, it's looking like a much, much better team here. And it's not the most appealing thing going offensive line twice in a row, but to me it is. And then Zach Moss, I love the pairing of Zach Moss with Austin Eckler. So in this scenario, I'm not bringing Melvin Gordon back. I thought he almost hurt them more than he helped them last year. Still a good running back. I believe in him, but it's just not worth spending that money. I'd rather spend the money on Austin Eckler and then get a guy like Zach Moss, which I think is a great fit next to him. It's a hard runner. He's lacking the long speed. Hard runner, very solid vision, can make people miss. He's really good in the red zone. To me, it's a really good fit. He can catch the ball really good, too. He's not going to be Austin Eckler, but I think to me it's a good fit. I think, like I said, two really good starting receivers for the Chargers. Love the duo. And Keenan Allen could play anywhere. Don't get me, he's great from the slot, but most of the time, even though he's one of those guys that play great from the slot, most of the time, you're going to play him outside. To me, you need a true slot receiver next to those guys. Devin Duvernay is not only a speedster, but a true slot receiver. He's going to be good. This guy's going to make an impact in the NFL. This is a round where he will go, but it's one of those safe picks. Like, this guy is going to make an impact. Limited amounts of true slot receivers in the league. Then Jared Pinkney, I think, is a great fit. A lot of fits here with Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry more the athletic type. Pinkney's got more of the build to him. Good contested catcher. I think that it'd be a great duo for those two. And then Lavert Hill, who some think could play slot corner. I still like him outside. I kind of go backwards a little bit for Lavert Hill in Michigan. You look back to when he first came in there, was playing at a high level. We're talking about a future first rounder. Something happened, still a good corner, and went down a little bit. I think the Chargers, and that defense can kind of get that out of him. I think it could be a rotation guy, whether it's a slot or outside. And then Quintez Cephas from Wisconsin had a really good Rose Bowl, had a really good productive season, kind of under the radar because of the other talent. A guy that can really do it all for them. If you want a rotation in there in the slot or outside, that's kind of your guy. Prefer him outside. But that just seems like another Chargers rotation guy. They need rotation guys pretty badly. Again, love the duo, though. So this is the scenario I had for the Chargers. You could go multiple different scenarios, though. You could go, they don't go with the free agent quarterback. They could go the draft route, and they really load up on the offensive line. Where they sit, they're in a prime spot at 6-2. I don't really want them to overdraft Justin Herbert. I kind of like Jordan Love, but it's a huge risk pick. This scenario I like. This is the scenario I'm going. This is a scenario where you get back to being at least a playoff team, in my opinion. So we'll see. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Doing this for every single team, going in draft order, so we'll get to your team. Trying to do 2 a day. We'll get there. A lot of other content on the channel, plenty more to come. Please subscribe to both of our channels and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. There's a link down in the description in the comments for all of that. We would really appreciate it. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.